And
Okay.
if you have questions as we go, please feel free to interrupt. It's not anything formal, but I just want to go over a couple of the very kind of first things. And so just pulling up the spreadsheet here. So what I'll say first of all is this business is super, super simple. It's literally what you just said, which is sharing your journey and encouraging other people and then helping them do the same. Like that's all that it is. And for some reason, it can be really easy to overcomplicate. And I think that, like, what is your full-time job, Sonia? I should know this. I feel terrible.
I am accounts payable, so I'm in an office.
Okay. Yeah, totally. That was, yeah, I had an office job too. So I think that one of the things that can happen with new coaches is you get started and then you're juggling your like job and your life, like mom, like all the things. And it can feel all of a sudden really overwhelming and really complicated. And it's not, it's so simple. So I want to just start you off by saying like anything new that you start, any new job you start or class or anything like that, you're usually going to have at least 3 hours a day, if not 8 hours a day, to learn it. And when you do coaching, you're really fitting it in, most likely in little 20-minute cracks of your day, probably about an hour a day total. And so I always tell my new coaches, like, be here in a year. Give yourself the grace of showing up and knowing that the first couple months, you just might feel like a total hot mess. And that is completely normal and completely fine. Because if you're like me, and actually you have a leg up on me because you're already sharing stuff on social media. I never even posted on social media before I became a coach. I like maybe posted once every 3 months. And so like just the fact that you're already doing that is awesome. And so as a coach, the very first thing like is on this slide that you do is work on you. And it's just starting your own fitness journey, using the products, sharing it, and helping people do that. That's literally all that we do. And so what I want to make sure in this call is just that you kind of get familiar with the resources and kind of what to start doing immediately. And what I want to say also is that you do not have to wait until you have it all figured out to start this business. I think the best coaches are the ones who are like, I signed up yesterday, I don't know what I'm doing, but we're just going to jump in today. It's going to be awesome. And so you do not have to have it all together. In fact, you should see I think I have one of my first posts in here. They're terrible. So you probably got an email from Beachbody that had your Coach Online Office stuff in it. We have our team pages that I'll add you to. We have some calls that are always recorded, but also jump in on them live, kind of like this, where it's weekly and just a chance for you to get to know the other girls on the team and questions answered. YouTube and Google are my faves. When I was a brand new coach, I used the new coach training that's very similar to what I'll give you access to, but I also was like, oh, all the top coaches just have everything on YouTube. Like, I'm going to Google how to use Instagram for Beachbody, and that's a lot of how I learned. And then,
all right.
And then Beachbody also does these awesome, national wake-up calls where they have top coaches come in and just share, like, here's how I'm juggling full-time working mom life and my business. And it's really cool. And those are always on Mondays at 8 a.m. Pacific time. When I worked full-time, I could never catch them live because I was already at my for the day. So they are on a podcast and they're also on a Facebook page that you can replay. So honestly, I would like listen to them while I was in the shower or working out or driving or like I would just catch them later. So all of these resources are there for you, but don't feel like you have to get overwhelmed by learning all the things at once. You're just going to focus on the very beginning steps. So
all right.
these are the things that are the most important that you do. And they are what are called the 4 vital behaviors. And the very first one is what you're already doing. It's working out the product. So that's simple. And I think that like I always love to show in my Instagram stories like little clips of the workouts or little clips of me drinking my shake or Energize that I always have before my workout because I do love them and I use them every day. And when I can share about that publicly, that makes it really easy when someone wants to purchase stuff because they're already sort of familiar with it because I've been showing it. So a lot of that is just kind of getting like part of my job description is actually to show up and work out, which really helps me stay consistent with it. Sharing your journey on social media, connecting with people. This is probably the one that the most people get nervous about. I don't know if you feel nervous.
A little bit.
Yeah, and that's totally normal. But what I always like to think about is it's just you sharing your real journey and we'll talk about this more in our new coach training, but when you sign up to be a coach, Beachbody does not become your life. It doesn't take over who you are. You have interests and passions and gifts and abilities outside of just coaching. And so really it's sharing all those things. So if you come to my page, you're going to see my kids, you're going to see my husband does funny things, you're going to see me talk about that I love to eat ice cream. And right now we're like in the middle of doing our home renovation, like all of those things. And I do show workouts and I do talk about the business, but it's really to more show people how you can fit those into your real life. If we talk about our workouts, people are going to be like, oh yeah, well, I don't really connect with you. But if you're like, yeah, an accounts payable, like here's what I ate for a healthy lunch while I was at my desk, or here's how I'm juggling like coming home from work, I got my kids, and like what does that look like, all of those things. And so as you start to share, it becomes much more easy to connect with people and invite. And we'll talk about that process a little bit more. Personal development is one of my favorite things. And honestly, I ignored this as a new coach. I was like, I don't know. I'm a pretty positive person. I don't really need that. But it has changed my business, spending at least 10 minutes a day, whether it's listening to a podcast or reading a book in areas that will grow me. Couple I'll always recommend for new coaches, so I'll email you those afterwards. But that's on oftentimes where I get like content for my posts, even like ideas to share that are like, hey, this is encouraging to me or something like that. And then we do a lot of celebration, and you'll see that in our team pages. We recognize everyone, everything. So that's kind of the 4 things that you focus on, and we'll talk about that a lot more. And your very first, I'm going to actually come back to that. So the first step that you do is committing to a program. And so this would be like an example. This was a post that I did last year, and I was like, I told you guys I'd share my results every week. So here are my week 2 progress photos. And I kind of talk about not just like, oh, cool, Abby worked out, but I shared the reason I'm passionate about helping other women with health and fitness is not just about the number on the scale, but the growth and the confidence and the energy. Like I'm like trying to relate to other moms that I know are out there who are like, I don't want to take it out on my kids. I had a rough day, and sweating it out is much more healthy. Like just kind of sharing a little bit of a deeper reason in that. And so as a new coach, what I'm going to do with you is I'll get you plugged into a challenge group so you can kind of see, were you ever a part of one at all? Have you ever been a part of a challenge group?
No, never.
Okay, awesome. So I'll add you to one, and basically you'll get to be a challenger, and you'll get to kind of see how that works. And then the very next, like in September, you'll be able to invite people to my next group, and you'll kind of be like an apprentice coach and help run it, but you don't have to, unless you want to, you don't have to take it over, but you just kind of get to see how it goes and really start just committing to your own health and fitness journey and start sharing that. So that's really the first step. I know that you said you've done P90X before, and then we just got you set up, you got Beachbody On Demand, right?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. And so do you want to do P90X, or do you have a different program? I know you're a Shaun T girl, which I love.
So I just started 20-day fix on Sunday. So I'm in my 3rd day, 4th day.
Okay.
So yeah.
Are you doing the real-time one?
No.
Okay. There's 2. They just reshot it in real time, and
She talks too much and I can't stand it.
Just turn up your music real loud. Yeah, the real-time one, I actually like a little bit better. They're the same program, but in the real-time one, it's shot in real time, so you don't just repeat the same workout for 3 weeks. Every day is actually different, which is kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
Both of them, but I think that's a perfect program. So what you can do is you can share, and you can start posting on your stories and in your feed, and you can just kind of talk like, hey, I committed to 3 weeks. And then every day you're going to show up and you're going to talk about it. And you're going to talk like, today was upper body day, or Pilates fix, or you can kind of share those different workouts, like maybe your baby's crawling all over you, or you're sneaking it in before you go to work, or however you're doing it, just kind of starting to show that. And then I would go all in on committing to that nutrition, to your workout, and you'll be able to show a 21-day progress photo, which will be awesome, and people can start following. So that is perfect. And we will share like more in our new coach little group about how to kind of share those posts and stuff like that. But that is absolutely the most perfect thing. So that's your very first thing. The next thing that you're going to really think about is connecting with people. And this is the part that I know makes people get really nervous. It is the part that it really will change your business. And so the nice thing with Beachbody is there is no requirements as a coach. You can literally just be a coach for the discount and do. You can have one person a year join you. Like, there's no requirement, but there are certain benchmarks. If you're like, I would really love to build an income for my family or go on some of these trips or things like that. And so that is where these goals come in. And so one of your very first goals as a brand new coach is what's called Success Club. And it's helping 3 new people every month get set up exactly like you did, with a challenge pack, kind of getting them into one of our groups. And that's it. And it's like 3 people over 30 days. Like, everyone knows 3 people who need help. And so that's kind of the very first thing. And why you want that as a brand new coach, there's a couple reasons. So the very first thing is we'll help you break even on all your products and then start making a little bit more. And I think that's always important, to help you get that investment back. The second thing that's really cool is that every single month that you hit Success Club, you basically start earning points to go on. So I think you were following me back in March, like when I took my family on that cruise. That was just helping 3 people a month for a year. I earned that whole thing for our family, which was really awesome. So they do those all-inclusive trips every year. We could have never done that on our own. So it's fun to be able to spoil them with. So that's one of those things. And then also, as a brand new coach, if you hit Success Club, so those 3 people, for 3 consecutive months out of your first 4 months as a coach. So for you, it would be August, September, October, or October, November. So 3 consecutive out of your first 4. You actually get a free ticket to Summit. So when you saw us all in Indianapolis a few weeks ago and we were like working out with the Shaun T Live and like all that fun stuff, it's so much fun. It's going to be in New Orleans next year, and we'll get like some team houses, and it's just going to be a blast. So you earn a free ticket to that, and that's really cool. I went to that my first year, and it was like such a game changer for my business, and really fun just to see like 20 other thousand people who did and realize I wasn't weird. Like, people do this too. So that's kind of your very first goal. And honestly, the first people that you connect with are going to be the people who already know, like, and trust you. They're going to be your best friend or the girl at work or your mom, like just the people who you can say, hey, I'm committing to do this 21-day workout program, and I'm really excited. I'm a little nervous. Would you want to do it with me? And I could really use the support and the accountability. And it's just that simple. It's just that kind of conversation. And then as you grow your business, and we'll talk about this and I'll teach you how to do this, you'll start to grow your Instagram following. And you'll start to connect with other people who you might, who you don't know right now, like how we did. Just start following you. They're like, what's this girl up to? I'm super interested. And then they start becoming your clients and your coaches. And so it kind of starts to build from there. But oftentimes for brand new coaches, the very first people that are going to jump in with them are people who already know and know I can trust you and know that you're not some weird spammy person trying to sell them something that's super sketch. Hey, I could use the accountability. Do you want to jump in with me too? Do you have questions on that at all?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, perfect. So these are some, and I'm actually not going to go over all this, but we'll talk about insights and what that looks like. When I was a brand new coach and I was so scared, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to invite people. Like, what do I say? I'd get really nervous and I'd like word vomit at them, and I would like get so upset and so discouraged if someone told me no. But really, truly, it's just being a conversation expert and just sharing what you're loving and knowing that some people are going to be ready and some people are not. I have a girl who's actually joining me this month who's been watching me for 2 years, and she keeps watching all my stories and liking all my posts. So I just keep inviting her and saying like, hey, Melissa, thanks for the love. Like, are you interested in joining my next group? And she's all like, oh no, not ready. I'm like, okay. And now she's ready. And it took her 2 years to be ready. I'm so excited. So sometimes it just takes time, but you're not reaching out to like annoy them. You're just reaching out to offer them something that you love and has helped you. And that's all that it is. And so we'll go into that a little bit more. The second goal as a new coach, and I like to talk about this in our very first call, Might not make a ton of sense just because I want it sort of on your radar. Again, there's never pressure from Beachbody or from me to do anything. You can do whatever you want, but I always like to make sure that as a new coach, you know the next step, and that if you're interested in the financial side of things, that you know kind of the thing that's going to start to blow up your business. And the very first thing is to hit what's called Emerald Rank, and that is basically signing up your very first 2 clients as coaches. And they can, most of the time, they're just going to be getting your discount, and I'll help you with that conversation. They don't have to work business. Oftentimes it's a spouse. My husband was actually one of my very first coaches, and there's a strategy for that. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But it's just one of those things in your very first month that you'll want to do because it opens the door for starting to get some bonuses and not just commission. And that's really where you start seeing some income growth happening. So I just like to kind of put that on your radar. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but it's just something that as you start to have conversations, let me know so that I can make sure that you're hitting those first goals that you want to do.
Okay.
Do you have questions on that?
No.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So my Instagram feed actually used to look a lot prettier. I'm like looking at this now and being like, oh dang, I need to look better. This is what it used to look like. But you can see, these are just some snapshots actually from last summer, and it's so small. But you can see on here, there's not just like me holding a bag of Shakeology or me with like the 21-day fix calendar. It's sharing you. So I don't want to see your coaches. I do not want to see you holding up just your shaker cup with like, I mean, I will call you out on it. I don't want to see you with like, or I don't want to not see your face. If I don't want it just to be like a screenshot of Autumn. Like nobody wants to see that. People want to see you. You are beautiful. You're fun. Like I love looking at your Instagram feed. You do fun stuff. So share your life. And so you can see on here, there's food, there's my kids, these were some like quotes that I really liked, my husband, just stuff like that, my transformation. And so share all aspects of your life and journey. And what I like to do, and we'll talk about this more, but is I share 1, maybe 2 posts a day on Instagram. Do you do Facebook or is Instagram your main thing?
I like more Instagram.
Okay, perfect. Me too. So that's perfect. So sharing maybe 1 post a day on your feed, that's something that is, I always like to think of it as kind of like the magazine. So I make sure that it's a post that is a nicer picture. I maybe go outside because like our house doesn't have very good lighting, or I've kind of thought through it a little bit more. And then my stories, I mean, it's just a hot, it's like my kids are crazy, my laundry pile's there, like it's the real life. And so I'm on my Instagram stories about 10 to 15 times a day. You don't have to be on them when you're at work. It can be like, here's some clips before work of my workout or whatever you're doing. And then maybe if you have a lunch break, you can pop on there really quick. And then maybe you don't even have time until after bedtime because you've had family time that time. Like just kind of sharing when you can, but starting to show those little snippets of how you're fitting in nutrition and how you're fitting in a workout and what else you guys are doing with your life. Just sharing those little bits and pieces. And I try to make sure that every single day in my stories, I've shared, here's my challenge group and here's what I'm doing. So we'll talk about that more. But here's some examples of ideas of just like daily life, workout clips, product use. So again, not being spammy with it, but like I was talking about collagen the other day because I started using the Beachbody collagen and it's actually really good. And I didn't show the label. I was just like, I love this collagen. It's helping like all my postpartum hair loss come back. And I had like 3 girls message me and they're like, oh, what is that? We're looking for a new one. So that was just like creating interest. It wasn't being spammy of like,
yeah,
hey, collagen, like me like using it. Sharing, I always think about how can I serve? How can I help people even if they don't purchase from me? I want them to want to come to my page because maybe they're going to learn something about nutrition or some healthy kids recipes or be inspired or share a funny mom life quote, like just those types of things. And so those are some examples. This is one of my very first posts as a coach, and it's everything I tell you not to do. It's like a horrible quality picture, like colors with you. I mean, like super spammy. Why anybody signed up with me, I don't know. So like if they're terrible, don't stop. Like, you will get better. But I just this one, it's a picture. When I share my family, people love that. So it's a well lit picture. The caption, it's kind of hard to read from here, but it's not $10 off. It's in all caps. Paisley slept through the night, because everyone knows she's a terrible sleeper. And then I start talking about how, working out has been such a lifesaver as a mom to like get some energy back, and how excited I am for my next challenge group to start. So it's, again, really connecting more and not just being like, save $10, but like share my life. So that's an example of what not to do. So much like fitness, and I know you work, so I think this might resonate with you. This business is a lot like that. Success doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. You have to track it to see success, meaning you have to, track your weight, to look at your nutrition. You have to kind of be patient to see that. And same with your business. You're going to use some tools, and there are some trackers that we'll share. There's success that is twofold with your fitness, on like nutrition wins and fitness wins of like, I can lift more, or I lost weight, or I don't eat the jelly ice cream anymore. And then in your business, there's going to be the big public wins that are like the recognized ones, like, oh, Sonia hit emerald rank, and like all these stuff. But there might be some really private ones to celebrate too. Like, I shared my story. As soon as you stop with working out, I don't know if you've experienced this, like you get sick or you take a break and like for a week, and then you're like dying when you try to start again. You're like, oh my Lord, this is awful. Same with the business. As soon as you take your foot off the gas with this, it gets really hard. And so I never want my new coaches, I don't want you to burn out. And I'm not asking you to work, 6 hours a day, but I am asking you for the 20 minutes that you do have to show up 100% with
Nicole.
Because that is going to be the most important thing. Comparison is going to be joy. And that is one of those things that it'll be, when you look at other coaches, you can get discouraged or feel like you're less than, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to own your own story and to not overcomplicate it. And so the next thing that we're going to do is to really just start. And so I'm going to add you to our team page. And we have actually a new Coach University that's ran through our Challenge Tracker app. So you get the invite to that tonight. We're going to kick that off in a couple of days here. So for now, what you want to do is just commit to your program, which I know you've already done. Start your 10 minutes of personal development a day, and I'll shoot you an email with some resources for that. And just start sharing your journey and inviting people to join you. So I want to challenge you for 7 days, for like the next week, to share a post on social media with you in it.
Okay.
Something about your journey or that's connected to it. So that's kind of your very, very first step to do. And if this is your very first challenge, you can kind of, like, this would be an example. Whoa. I'm going to email you this. That made it smaller. I'll email you this, but to just do a post that's like, where did it go? There you go. Okay, friends, I'm stalking this awesome girl and following her journey, and I finally decided to do one of her online challenges, but I'm afraid to do it alone. Does anyone want to do it with me? We can hold each other accountable. Or, hey, I'm so excited to commit to 21 days of this program. It's 30 minutes and under. It's going to be perfect for me as a teen mom. And I'm on day 3 and I'm already feeling so great. Who would, is anyone interested in jumping in with me this next month? Like, you can just kind of even start sharing that and showing up every day. And then as people start to like and comment on that, you can reach out to them and just say, like, hey, thank you so much for the love on that post. It's always scary to share, but I'm really, really excited to be doing this. Do you want some more info? And then let me know, and we'll start talking about that. But in our little new coach mentorship, that's where you're going to have a daily assignment.
Okay.
It's going to be long. It's going to be very short, and it's going to be very doable, but we're just going to focus on baby steps of kind of starting to add some people to your network, starting to have some conversations, and having you start to share your journey. And then we'll start going from there. So the most important thing that you can focus on right now will be that little group. There'll be about 5 of you in it. I keep them pretty small so that I can really pour into you guys. And reaching out to me directly, I'll give you my phone number, and I'll make sure to add you on Facebook too. Messenger is a really good way to get a hold of me, so as you're having conversations, you can just shoot me a message and I can walk you through all of those things so that you feel really good and know what to do on all of that. So it's really, really simple. my expectations for you is to show up. The business activity tracker, and I will show you what that is here in a minute. But to share your tracker with me on Thursdays, I'll show you what that is. It's to be willing to fail. Honestly, I think failure is one of the biggest reasons that people are scared. They're scared. Like, I just have to commend you because it's brave to do what you're going to do. And I know because I remember putting my very first coach announcement post up where I said I was a coach. And I literally posted it at midnight so no one would see it. And my husband was like, don't you want people to know? I was like, yes. No. And they're going to judge me and I'm going to, like, I literally cried. I'm like, what am I, but so I know,
oh, goodness.
and that's normal. But you are going to do great. And when you know why you want to do what you're doing, it's going to be awesome. So your goal is just to say like, okay, I'm going to start sharing my story. I would love to help at least one person this month get signed up with me, whether it's my mom or my best friend. Like, I just want to focus on helping 1 to 3 people this month. And then we'll kind of go from there. And that's all that you have to do. So hopefully this makes you less overwhelmed. Do you have questions on anything at all? I'm getting logged into another site here really quick. So. I think that you are frozen. Sorry, Sonia. But I will just keep sharing here. Okay. So in the Coach Online office, you are going to go to training and the Success Club system. And you are going to go to the Success Club tracker. And this is what you're going to turn in every single week. And we'll talk about this a lot more, but this is going to be kind of what you go off of. And we'll go from there and just start going through it together. But it's going to show you how to have those conversations, do your stories, respond to likes and comments, and all of that. And that is all. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this made you excited. As you have questions or anything else like that, definitely let me know. And I'm so excited to do this journey with you.